Do you want to discover the flame that hides within you? Do you want to take a journey to discover your authentic self? I am Maria Felahidou, systemic consultant and color psychodynamics practitioner. Together, we will explore ways to discover your inner flame. Welcome. Come in. Make yourself comfortable. Take a deep breath and relax. Today, I want to talk to you about something I believe touches all of us. How to live based on who you truly are and not who others expect us to be. You know, we grow up in a demanding world. From a young age, we hear things like, be a good child, choose a safe career, don't disappoint your parents. We feel the pressure to live according to what others want from us, to wear roles that don't fit, to follow paths that don't inspire us, simply because we feel we should. And somewhere in all of this, we often lose ourselves. If you've ever felt drowned in expectations, if you've ever felt your own voice fading among the voices of others, then this episode is for you. I want us to explore this together. We'll talk about how other people's expectations shape our choices. I'll share with you a story from Greek mythology that sheds a bright light on this topic. And of course, we'll look at how you can begin to reconnect with your own inner flame, one small step at a time. Let me start with a question. How many times have you done something just to avoid disappointing others? Maybe something small, agreeing to an outing you didn't want, doing a favor while inside you wanted to say no. Or it could be something big, studying something your parents chose for you, staying in a job that doesn't reflect who you are, holding on to a relationship that has already ended. I know it's hard, and this difficulty doesn't show immediately, it builds up slowly. One day, you realize you've lost yourself. Let's pause here for a moment. People always have an image of who we should be. Parents, teachers, society, even our friends. Sometimes it's well-intentioned. Other times it's just social conditioning repeating itself. But when we build our lives solely around these expectations, we drift away from ourselves. We may find ourselves in a career that doesn't express us, in a relationship that limits us, in a role that makes us feel small or trapped. Because when we play a role that isn't ours, we simply cannot perform it successfully. It doesn't belong to us. It's like asking a fish to run a marathon and then judging it for being slow or unmotivated, or just unable to do it. I'm sure you've heard similar judgments in your own life when you were asked to do something you didn't feel connected to. And when you didn't succeed the way others expected, you were the one blamed. And then comes comparison. Oh, these comparisons. Look at him. He passed the exam. Look at her. She's already married. The neighbor just got promoted. What are you doing all these years? This comparison makes you feel even more inadequate. But how could it be any different? Others succeeded because their choices were aligned with who they are. How am I supposed to pass a math exam if I secretly hate math? If what moves me is history, not numbers? And the hardest part, often, we don't even realize this dynamic. We live, but we're not truly alive. Something feels missing, but we can't quite name it. Let me tell you something. Life becomes meaningful when we dare to live authentically. When we find the courage to say, "This is who I am. This is my truth." That's when you feel good in your own skin. You wake up in the morning and feel full, not because life is perfect, but because it feels like yours. And you may wonder, where do I start? You don't need anything big or dramatic, let me tell you. It can begin with one small choice, saying no to something you don't want, choosing an activity that lights you up, reconnecting with a childhood desire, reconnecting with a childhood dream. For example, when I was young, I wanted to become a singer. Of course, that wasn't considered acceptable from you know who. So that dream was packed away in a box in a big trunk. We talked about it on the previous episode, remember? Well, years later, through my own journey with color psychodynamics, during my training, my teacher looked at my color profile and told me, "You could be a Greek Adele." And suddenly, I remembered that little girl who loved to sing. I didn't go to a talent show. I didn't try to become famous. I simply joined my local vocal ensemble because what I really wanted wasn't fame. It was to sing. And I discovered I was a soprano. It brought me joy, connection, expression. When you live aligned with who you are, something shifts. Your energy rises. Life feels lighter, more real. There is a story in Greek mythology that touches me deeply and fits perfectly with today's theme. The story of Iphigenia. Iphigenia was the daughter of Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae. When the Greeks were preparing to sail for Troy, for the known war, all the kings gathered their ships, their warriors, ready to set off. They were waiting there with their sails and their armors, waiting to depart. But there wasn't even enough wind to blow out a leaf. Nothing. Total stillness. And everyone kept asking, what happened? Why the winds did not blow? Well, here's what happened. Good old Agamemnon, who had a passion for hunting, apparently one day decided to go hunting somewhere near where the ships were anchored. By pure coincidence, he went into a forest that, as it turns out, was the sacred grove of Artemis, the goddess. And guess what? He ended up killing Artemis's sacred deer. A big mistake. So the goddess was furious, and obviously, and she said, that's how you're playing it? Fine, I'm shutting down the winds. And just like that, nothing moved. Not a leaf, not a wave. No one is going anywhere, Artemis said. Now, in every campaign back then, the Greeks had warriors, doctors, and of course, an oracle. So, the oracle shows up and says, listen everyone, this is the situation. The goddess is angry. We need to calm her down. And how do we calm her? Well, he said, just like Agamemnon, you slaughtered the goddess's deer, you now have to sacrifice someone else to balance it out, someone important to you. Who am I supposed to sacrifice? Agamemnon asked. Your daughter, Iphigenia, the oracle replied. So, what can Agamemnon do? He submitted to the will of the goddess and sent for Iphigenia to come to the harbor so she could be sacrificed to Artemis. Just imagine Iphigenia for a moment, a young girl with no choice at all. In fact, she was told that she should go to the harbor in order to get engaged with Achilles. That was the ruse, the lie that her father used to lure her and her mother to the harbor, to the sacrificial altar. Her life was decided entirely by others, by the actions and decisions of other people. She had no choice, no saying, nothing. She didn't even have ownership of her own life. Well, thankfully, and according to the myth, at the very last moment, Artemis rescued her. She took her away and appointed her as her priestess in one of her temples far, far away. The winds blew again, and the Greeks sailed off, and thus the famous Trojan War happened. But the message remains. When we live the life others want for us, we end up sacrificing ourselves, piece by piece. We lose our own life before we ever get the chance to really live it. And think about it. How often do we play the role of Iphigenia without even realizing it? Maybe we aren't sacrificed on an altar, but we sacrifice our joy, our dreams, our freedom. How many times have you sacrificed small parts of yourself just to avoid disappointing others, just to be accepted, just to belong? That is what moves me so deeply in this myth. Maybe ancient, but its symbolism is completely relevant today as well. Iphigenia's story may be extreme, but its essence remains the same even nowadays. No one will ask us to die on an altar, but we may be dying a little every day when we say yes while wanting to say no, when we stay in a situation that no longer reflects who we are. And the worst part, this sacrifice is invisible. On the outside, everything looks fine, but inside, it leaves emptiness, sadness, a quiet sense that we are not truly alive. And you may ask yourself, why do we do this? Why do we live according to what others want? Well, one reason is fear. Fear of rejection. Fear that we won't be loved. Fear of being alone. Another reason is that we want to be the good child. We learn from very early to please others, to earn acceptance through saying yes. Yes to everything they ask from us. I'll return to this in another Inner Flame episode where I'll talk to you about the systemic perspective behind all of this. For now, I'd like to invite you to pause and reflect. Which choices in my life are truly mine and which are influenced by others? Where do I feel pressure to be something I'm not? Where do I say yes when I want to say no? When do I feel most authentic? What desires did I have as a child? Where do I say no while something inside me is shouting yes? Well, if you feel comfortable, you can write all of this in your journal, in your inner flame journal. It's not to show it to anyone, but so you can see for yourself more clearly, to see where you stand today. And you don't have to change your whole life in a single day. You can begin with a small step. Let me offer you a few practical thoughts. I love practical thoughts. I'm not much of a theory person. I love practicality. I love steps that have immediate result. Things you can start doing today. First of all, listen to yourself. Before you say yes or no, give yourself 10 seconds to think. Do I really want this? Even if you say yes while wanting to say no, do it consciously. At least know why you say yes. Know why you said no. Secondly, practice small no's. Start saying no to small things, and you'll see something strange. The world will not collapse, I promise. Thirdly, notice where you live for others. Write down the areas of your life where you do things mainly to please others and not yourself. Fourthly, ask yourself, what do I want? It may be a simple question, but if you ask it every day to yourself, it will bring you closer to your truth, to what your soul actually wants. Fifth, celebrate every small moment when you choose something from your authenticity. Always remember to do this. Every tiny step, every small victory brings you closer to your own life. If there's one thing I want you to remember from today's episode, is this. Life is too precious to be lived through the eyes and expectations of others. Your inner flame is here to guide you towards the life you deserve to live. So, before we close this episode, I want to leave you with one small question. What small part of yourself can you bring into your life today without fear? Thank you so much for being here with me in this episode. If you enjoyed it, please share it with someone who might need it as well. And of course, you can follow me on social media or reach out to me so we can continue this conversation and this journey together. Until the next episode, remember, it's time to rediscover your inner flame. You've been listening to the Inner Flame podcast with systemic consultant and color psychodynamics practitioner Maria Felachidou. Search for this podcast on Spotify and follow Inner Flame on Instagram and Facebook.